Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight. I spoke with my opponent, Kevin O'Connor, just moments ago, and I extended my thanks to him for a civil, spirited campaign. Our democracy is stronger because of the discussion that took place throughout the general election. There is no one more humble or grateful than a candidate on the night that he or she wins an election. I stand before you this evening grateful to the voters of Massachusetts for the confidence that they have placed in me. I will fight every day to make you proud of that vote. I am honored to be your United States Senator. To Susan, my brilliant and beautiful wife, for the past 32 years, you have been my partner, my teammate, and my best friend. Thank you for always being by my side. And to Team Markey, from the bottom of my heart, my gratitude. To our fearless leader and the greatest campaign manager of all time, John Walsh, we will forever be grateful for your guidance, your optimism, and your integrity every single step of the way. To Giselle Berry, the brilliance behind our communications and the rock of our operation, thank you for everything. To our Army of a field operation led by the remarkable Rory Clark and Joe Thibodeau, you organized friends, family, co-workers, and neighbors. You made relational organizing a model for campaigns across the country. Because of your work, we had the highest voter turnout in a primary and likely general election that Massachusetts has ever seen. To Paul Bologna and the digital team, your creativity, your passion, and your radical revolutionary attitudes and innovations drove our campaign to new heights. You led with conviction and with humor, and you have forever changed the rules of campaigning. And to the Markeyverse, in each of you, I saw myself. Passionate disruptors and change makers, unrelenting optimists, ice cream aficionados. You might be sitting in front of a laptop screen or with a phone in hand, but I know you will never let anyone tell you where to stand. Over the past 16 months, we built not only a campaign, but a real grassroots movement, a movement of progressive ideals and diverse voices, a movement for justice, a movement to dismantle the status quo and achieve long overdue progress for America. We harnessed, respected, and magnified the energy and creativity of young organizers online and in the streets. And when these young people stood up and demanded change, we let them lead our charge. Today, Massachusetts voted to affirm our movement's mandate for change, and I am grateful for that support. And whether it will be later tonight or in the coming days after every vote has been counted, I believe American voters will elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as our next president and vice president of the United States. It will be an historic victory for Democrats, for women, for immigrants, for our young people, for the LGBTQ community, for people of color, for the United States of America, for our future. The young generation has done everything we have asked of them. They have organized, they have worked within our system of laws and placed their faith in our democratic institutions. They have worked tirelessly, idealistically, and optimistically, despite the obstacles stacked against them. And they ask one thing in return: did we live up to who we say we are as a nation? That in the face of this devastating coronavirus pandemic, we passed the largest and most just economic relief package in American history and ensure that families and small businesses make it through this recession with the government by their side. That in the face of the most challenging health crisis of all time, we pass Medicare for all and guarantee affordable health care to every person in our country. We must use science to beat the virus and move our country from peril to progress. And that in the face of the existential climate crisis, our elected leaders listen to the young people demanding change, trust them to lead the way and pass a Green New Deal. A Green New Deal is not just about pushing to the left, it's about pushing for what's right. A Green New Deal is more than a pathway to clean energy jobs, it is a pathway to justice. There will be no peace, no justice, and no prosperity unless we stop the march to climate destruction. This is a matter of life and death, the very future of our civilization depends upon it. I meant what I said on primary night. The age of incrementalism is over. The time to be timid is over. Now is our moment to think big, build big, be big. As individuals, as political leaders, as a nation, we must turn what must be done into what gets done. In 2021, we will put justice on the floor of the United States Senate. We will fight for comprehensive immigration reform and a pathway to citizenship for all 11 million immigrants living in the United States. We will fight for expanding the Supreme Court and restoring faith in this institution vital to our democracy. We will fight for workers' rights, collective bargaining, and retirement security. A nation that recognizes the rights and dignity of everyone. We will fight for justice in the halls of Congress and the halls of the courts. We will take to the streets, boldly paint the words across our boulevards, and at last pass the laws that affirm this truth: Black lives matter. We will fight for racial justice and erase once and for all the cruel reality that we live in two Americas. We have shown the political establishment what happens when millions of voices rise up as one. There is an invisible contract that you sign at birth, a promise. Every hour we work means longer days of freedom and security. But when you break the sacred contract, the people make a revolution. That revolution is happening at the polls today. Throughout this campaign, we organized for universal health care and told the stories of spouses, sons, and daughters fighting for their loved ones with Alzheimer's disease. We organized for equality and told the story of a mother fighting for her transgender daughter's safety, for her rights, and for a future free from discrimination. We organized for essential workers in Roxbury and Mattapan and Chelsea and Springfield and Worcester who took on multiple jobs during this pandemic just to make ends meet for their kids. We organized for working families like my mother and father in blue-collar Malden who sat around the kitchen table struggling to pay the bills. I was the first in my family to go to college. The first time I traveled to Washington, D.C. was when I was sworn into Congress. I know what it means to have to fight for what you believe in, to stand up when it is hard. We organized to right past wrongs, to tell the stories of those who have been kept out of decision-making, stories of love and family, blood and sacrifice, tears and redemption, injustice, outrage, fortitude, and hope. These individual stories make our collective whole. They are our movement. Now it is up to us to bring this movement forward. It is time to create an America that finally works for every person, no matter your race, gender, sexual orientation, country of origin, or creed. An America that offers something so basic and simple, we almost shouldn't have to say it. A country that lets our children dream about the future instead of fearing it. Our work is not simply to rebuild from the past 4 years. It is to transform the future for generations to come, to go beyond, far beyond, what was here before. We will not return to the so-called normal. We will not take the easy way out or find the middle ground. We will think bigger, act bolder, and be braver. Our young people are ready. Let us join them. I am so proud of this campaign and what we stand for. And I have never been more hopeful about the future of our country. To the voters of our Commonwealth, my faith is renewed each day by your determination, your commitment, and your refusal to give up on your dreams. Every day on the floor of the Senate, on the streets of our cities and towns, and in the halls of Congress, I will fight to create a healthier, fairer, and more peaceful and hope-filled future. Thank you, Massachusetts. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.